It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Welcome back to Health in the Real World. We're here today with Stephenie Rose, and we're going to rock bottom today.
Hi guys.
How you doing? It's funny. Yesterday when you asked what are we going to talk about, and I wrote that back right away. It just came out of nowhere. And afterwards, I got a little nervous because we're going to talk about our rock bottom stories with our health.
Yeah.
I think this is good.
Yeah, it's raw, so that's good.
I think we should do rock, paper, scissors, and whoever loses has to go first.
No, you're going first. Okay. Okay, ready?
On 3 or after 3?
After.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Tied. Again. Rock, paper, scissors. The timing is so... I'm not even editing this out. This is hilarious. All right. Again.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, I got you. You're first.
Okay. You gotta ask me whatever you want.
Your story. So when did you get to the point where you knew, like, oh my goodness, I need to do something. This is terrible. What was that like? So
I'll give you a little backstory first. Right after I had my daughter, she'll be 30 this year, which is crazy. During my pregnancy with her, I gained 84 pounds. Right after I had her, I lost it real quickly. It was, back then we just ate whatever we wanted and they said eat for 2. So I did. And I was relatively thin before I got pregnant for her. So gained all that weight. After I had her, I lost it relatively quick, working and doing all that stuff. And then stayed thin until she turned 5. I was 28. I was diagnosed with cancer, cervical cancer. So, and then she got really sick and my daughter got really sick as well. And my grandmother died. So there's a whole lot of things that happened in a real short amount of time that I'm telling you that to tell you this, that was like I realized that I was an incredible professional at emotional eating. And it fed a void that I thought I had, or for sure pain that I didn't know how else to deal with it and didn't even think twice. Now that I know what it looks like for other people, I know exactly what I was doing. Fast forward, I kept that weight on for 5 years. When I turned 33, this is my moment. I took my daughter to Disneyland and I was 223 pounds and I could not run with my kid at Disneyland. And I thought I was going to die just trying to get from one side to the other. And we had a picture taken. She was sitting on my lap and she had her hand on my thigh. And I swear it looked like it was this big against my thigh. And I thought, you know what? I've survived cancer. All these things that have gone on in my life. And I'm going to let this defeat me. I'm done. 33 years old, done. So that was my moment when I decided and knew that I needed to make a change. However, I had no idea where to start. So everything that I ate, my normal, whatever I ate, I obviously cleaned up my diet, stopped the fast food thing. But whenever I would put food on my plate, I literally would look at it and cut the plate in half of whatever I put on my plate and just eat that portion. Because I had no idea really about portion control and all that stuff back then. So that was my beginning. It took me 18 months, maybe a little bit longer to lose the weight. It took me a long time to get fit because I had no idea what I was doing until I became a personal trainer. And my ex-brother-in-law and really good friend of mine, Sal, kind of got me really excited about moving the body and personal training. I was intrigued on how, when they were working with clients. So that's kind of how it started. And then kickboxing was I fell in love with kickboxing. And finally my body started to get some muscle and some definition and lose some more fat. And as it was happening, it was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. And now I'm learning what I'm doing and I know how to eat better and blah, you know. So but my rock bottom was really ugly. I mean, that 5 years of me eating actually whatever I wanted, it was, if you want me to go into that, I can, because it was like almost abusive how I was treating my body with food. So, I mean, really bad.
If you want, it's up to you. If you think it would help people, I think, you know, I think a lot of people who watch this might be able to identify with where you are, where I am now. And to go from that to where you are now is pretty incredible.
Okay. So, my drug of choice, my favorite food of choice was Jack in the Box. And I would order, this is breakfast. I would order 2 sausage croissants, breakfast sandwiches, 2 hash browns, and 2 cheesecakes. That was my breakfast.
Gosh. Whew.
Yeah. I could eat 7 of their tacos without a problem, and curly fries.
Wow.
Double cheeseburgers, you know, their double cheeseburgers that they had? 2 of those, no problem. Curly fries, Diet Coke. Diet Coke, right?
Of course, because you have to be healthy.
Coke. Yeah, you got to try to be healthy. So, yeah, I was, that was my kind of eating. And I wasn't a bulimic. I didn't throw it up. Certainly wasn't anorexic because I was, you know, wanting to eat everything. And then my snacking was like bags of chips. I actually used to eat donuts. Apple fritters was my thing. I can't believe me saying it out loud right now, because I don't know that I've actually said it out loud, all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to ask you, does it kind of seem like you're talking about somebody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does, because it's almost, it's a visceral reaction I'm having right now. Just saying.
Yeah, it's like to say all that food, it's almost like if you saw that in front of you right now, you'd be like, oh, that's disgusting, right? It's because you've come full circle and just,
yeah. And to
know,
know
2 salads a
exactly,
day.
yeah. And to know exactly what that food was really doing to my body. Now that I know what it was doing to my major organs, my everything, my skin, my attitude. And that's the other reason why I believe I just kept eating that way, right? Because it's like an addictive thing when you start eating fast food and just crap food. Your body goes into that same, mine did.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients that I've spoken to about their situation that's very similar to mine, that I've never shared with them at this extent, have the same feeling. It's like it was their normal. So when you wake up and you just repeat your normal, which is fast food, junk food, whatever your body's craving, it's a habit, right? So it gets addicted to that food. And I was completely addicted to fast food and Mexican food. Let's just go there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 5 nights a week. My 4
Oh
kids,
my God.
Mexican food 5 nights a week. I joke about my tortilla chips. That's still my Achilles heel.
Is it?
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, yeah, it was a long time coming, and it was really difficult to, get through that first probably 15 or 20 pounds, because I had really no idea what I was doing, and I was grumpy, frustrated. I was in tears a lot, no guidance. And then once I started seeing the results on the scale and clothes were fitting better, my thigh didn't look the size of a tree trunk, the momentum kept me going. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago. Yeah. My head was actually in it. So I was ready. I hit the wall.
Yeah.
And that's something a lot of people don't understand. We all have that space. It might be not as extreme as mine was, or it could be worse, or it could be very scaled back. But our walls individually are there. So It's either an emotional wall you hit, a physical wall you hit, or all of it, right? So, and once it started happening, the momentum of me healing myself inside and recognizing, hey, I'm alive. I've got this great child. I have a great business, and healing the past, that was a big part of what I was doing also, was recognizing stuff that I had not dealt with earlier on. So Yeah, it was a rough road because I had no idea what I was doing until I got into learning about personal training. And then when I went to IIN, wow, did it really, I wanted to become a health coach for this reason, to be able to understand at a deeper level how I could create the ripple effect to heal people emotionally, physically, and spiritually, just by listening, really active listening, and giving guidance where it's needed, educated, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
And then also through personal experience, which I believe can be a lot more powerful, because you can actually feel what is going on, with these people.
Right. It puts your heart into it, right? You can study a book all day long, but if you felt it and you know what it's like, and you know that despair, and you also know not only the despair, but you know that there's this big mountain, but you know what it's like on the other side, which I think is huge, because it's like, look, I'm telling you, all you have to do is follow me. Just hold my hand. I'll take you over this mountain.
Yeah.
And we can
Lace
do this
up,
together.
Show up. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really what I needed. And that's why I say that little phrase that I have. If I had just had someone tell me, get up and put your shoes on, hold my hand, I'm going to take you. I got you.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I needed and what I want to bring to other people, and what that's what I live for. I mean, it's meaning in my business to be able to let people know they can trust me and my experience, and, getting them there. Real quick, I wanted to backtrack. Something I learned early on, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, was I realized that I knew I had between 85 and 90 pounds to lose, right? So you look at that big number, it's overwhelming, and it made me feel like I'm never going to get there. So in my mind, I thought, I'm going to take little bites out of this. So I'm going to go 5 pounds at a time. And it's something that I still use in my practice, my business, personal training and nutrition. Little baby bites, attainable goals, right? Yeah. We have a go for and a stretch.
Yep.
So I think kind of wrapping my arms around that really helped me continue moving forward, as well as the momentum of seeing the body change. And the 84 pounds, when it came off and everything started tightening up, when I started paying attention to the other parts of your body, your muscles and your strength, I wanted to get strong and live. I want to age differently, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's a little snippet. Actually, you got a lot.
That was a big snippet. That's good.
That was like,
I think if these stories can motivate even one person, and to get them to realize that, these are two healthy people and they went through some stuff.
Yeah.
When I was rock bottom, I was a senior in college, and it's crazy how fast this happened too, because, as a pre-college, right? Like 5 years old through high school, I was an athlete. I was always playing sports, like literally always 2 hours a day, baseball, basketball, soccer, football, cross country, track, everything. Right. And that's the reason why I tell, my story about how I hurt my back when I was 14, is because I was always go. And I was never stretching, never, recovering. Right. So, super fit as a senior in high school, went to college, gained like the typical, freshman 10, 15, whatever. As a junior in college, I wasn't super overweight, but I really wasn't that healthy and fit. But a friend of mine and we both had played basketball in high school, and we were both decent, we thought. And we're like, hey, why don't we try out for the basketball team? We went to Loyola Marymount. We're Division I. They never have like the greatest team, but like,
right.
But if any one of those guys walked into the YMCA, they would just wipe the floor with everybody. So It's not like they're bad players. It's just, comparatively, the rest of the NCAA, they're not the best. And I only say that just because we weren't walking on like at Duke or anything like that. But so we walk on at LMU, and we didn't make the team, neither one of us. They didn't take any of us. But the coach said, hey, you guys are hustlers, right? Like, we're diving for every loose ball. We're like, ball, we're yelling, doing all that. And he's like, you guys are hustlers. I want you guys to help us out on the practice squad. So basically we get to play basketball with the guys on the team for practice. Right. And then game time comes, we're nobody. We don't even get to suit up. I think we filmed the games for them. So like, we're working for them. But anyway, this is a great experience. So junior year, I go from that, like top of the world, super fit, healthy. And then senior year, I had a major where I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I majored in history. So everyone's asking me, are you going to be a teacher or are you going to law school? Like those were the only two options. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Woe is me. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
If I would have known back then that personal trainer was a career option, believe me, college would have been very different. But so you talk about Jack in the Box. All right, here's so I was an RA.
Please beat me on that, please.
I was a resident advisor in the dorms, right? So I was living in my own room. And this was very, emotionally, I was very isolated because I was in a freshman dorm, right? And I was a senior. So I was the only senior. I think I was the only senior and the other RAs were all juniors even. So I'm a senior, all the freshmen are in there. And all my senior friends, they were either living in a house off campus or they were completely on the other end of campus in basically apartments. I was in like a little dorm that they built in, I think, World War II. And it was like cinder block walls and a shower down the hall. I mean, it was like, it's old, right?
Like a cell.
It was a cell, right? So I sort of had some issues as far as just confidence and direction and what am I doing here? And you know, wasn't really challenging myself. So I was playing like 8 hours a day on the guitar and just like living this wannabe rock star life. Like I would play at the coffee shop, the student coffee shop on campus for open mic night every week, and just like this wannabe guitar player guy. And then every night, okay, this is the kicker.
Okay.
Every night. Okay, so we had, as an RA, we got $2,500 for the year in meal money, and we had a little card, right? So you scan it at the cafeteria, and that's how you pay for your meal. The crazy thing was that the Domino's Pizza right down the street accepted the meal money, right? So they deliver right to your room. You don't even have to leave your room, and you just swipe your little card, and it was all free, right? I mean, free. I was working for it, but so probably 4 nights a week, I would have a large Hawaiian pizza by myself and a 6-pack of beer.
Okay, then.
By myself. And because I didn't have a refrigerator, I couldn't even save the pizza till tomorrow. And look up how many calories are in a large Domino's pizza. Is ridiculous. And sodium and all that crap.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's every day. This is unreal. So two kind of, well, actually the rock bottom moment. I was hanging out with my buddy who we're still really good friends. He went to UC San Diego, and I went down there just to kind of hang out, and he was teaching me how to surf and stuff. And I mean, within 30 minutes on the surfboard, I was like, oh, I'm done. I want to go home. And then afterwards, and he was still healthy at this time.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he's like, hey, before we eat, let's go do a workout at the park, right? And so we're doing basics. Like we're doing bear crawls. I remember we're doing bear crawls up the hill, and I stopped, and he stopped, and he looked back at me and he said, Chris, you really let yourself go, didn't you? And at that point I was like, wow, I guess I did. And it like, because when you're just by yourself, you kind of don't realize like what you're doing to yourself. So at that point I realized, all right, I have to do something. I started working out again, very slowly, very lightly. And the second thing that was hilarious, this happened years later. So my wife, maybe 10 years ago, we're looking through old pictures, and my graduation photo, my college graduation photo comes up, and she pulls it up, and she's completely serious. She's like, oh, who's this guy? And why do you have a picture of him by himself? Right. And I looked at her, and I didn't answer because I thought she knew it was me, and I didn't answer. And I'm like, and then she's like, no, I'm serious. Who's this guy? Like, why do you have a random picture of this guy? And I'm like, are you serious? That's me. And she fell out of the chair laughing because it's a cap and gown. You can only see my neck up. My neck was coming over the top. I mean, like, I looked like a different person. My face, like, I mean, I was like 20 pounds heavier, and I think 18 of those pounds were in my cheeks. In
your face? Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was, so I wasn't so much fat, I was inflamed, right? I was like super, super inflamed. So fast forward like 2 years after college, I remember back when I was playing basketball, there was a guy who was pretty good. He was a good player, but he wasn't like Michael Jordan good. But he got offered a contract to go play semi-pro ball in Germany. And that sort of got me thinking like, whoa, I mean, he was better than me, but I was like right there. Like I was almost as good as him. I'm like, I can do this. I can do that. And I was 22 years old. I'm like, I want to try to play semi-pro basketball. And so I hired a trainer at the YMCA where I was spending all my time anyway, because I didn't have a job. And he would train me. I would play basketball. Anyway, 1.5 years of training. And this was the best shape of my life. I got up best shape of my life, went to 2 tryouts, realized really quickly that even guys who are 10 times better than I am are not getting called to play on these teams. So I'm like, all right, well, that was fun, but I'm not going to be a basketball player, but I love this workout stuff. I'm going to become a trainer. So that was 2005, became a trainer right then, worked at that YMCA, and the rest is history. So, but it took that rock bottom. And I think the lower you go, the more you can sort of springboard up, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the more, don't you feel like for me, I don't know if you felt like this, but the lower I got, the more I springboarded. But then at the same time, as I was getting stronger, feeling better, I realized I could help people.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I decided to do what I'm doing. It was like, I got to share this.
Yeah.
I got to bring this to the world. In other words, I want to be a ripple effect to make change. So that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing.
Exactly. And going through it ourselves, I think you're right. It's a great way. It's almost like, when something comes too easily to you, it's hard to teach it, right?
True.
But if you've struggled with it and you know how to get through the struggle, you can almost help anybody, right?
Oh man, for sure. In many things in life, man, have I learned that, right? It's just in many things. And one of the best things that I think I've learned through this, when I have someone in front of me for their initial assessment, is how important it is to listen. I hear so much from people if I actively listen to everything they say, and they have so much to say and why they are where they are, what they're doing or what they need or what they're looking for. So that's something that this career has taught me to be a better listener. So I'm happy about that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I think this was a great episode. I think so. Again, hopefully it inspires somebody who's maybe they can resonate with some of the things we're saying, and they say, okay, I can do it too. Let's do this.
Yeah. And let's be clear. You've had it off you're 40, almost 41. You've been in shape since 2005 or whatever. Mine has been 20 years. Yeah. I've had it off for almost 20 years. I hit rock bottom at 33. I'm 53 now. So
yeah. And for everyone watching, the best thing to do once you get fit is to become a personal trainer, because then you have to stay fit.
Then you have to stay fit.
There are 2 reasons.
Yep, that's right.
Personal health, and then also the accountability factor, because you need to walk the walk, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Always fun.
Right. Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.